Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here for another waiver wire episode. This one for week 21 of the fantasy hockey season. If you've been watching this channel and you haven't already, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. The majority of those who watch my videos are still not subscribed, so really would mean a lot to me if you did hit that subscribe button. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, there is a join button right down below on YouTube, or if you want to check out the link down below, there is a link to my Patreon where you get some extra perks like being able to DM with me one-on-one. Let's talk about week 21 now, guys, and week 21 is, for a lot of people, the final week of the regular season. So if you're like fringe about to make the playoffs and you need this win, this is the biggest week of the season for you so far. Some of you are also starting your fantasy playoffs this week. I'm not sure why you're starting so early, but from what I've seen in some comments, some leagues are actually starting their fantasy playoffs. Either way, this is a super important week for a lot of you. Additionally, we just had the trade deadline in the NHL. What does that mean? Well, a lot of players were moved, so there could be some hidden gems that got moved from one team to another that really pop off in these last few weeks of the season. There are always a few players every single year that really take off on their new teams. We're going to go through quite a few players that could be that guy this year. Let's take a look at the schedule now for week 21 and Monday, March 10th. There are 4 games. Tuesday, there are 11. Wednesday, there are 4. Thursday, 9. Friday, 6. Saturday, 11. And Sunday, 7. So the off nights are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday as usual. However, the busy nights are not that busy. Tuesday and Saturday, you are probably full, but check just in case. And then Thursday, you may have room for a player. So if you have room for players every day, you don't have to worry about picking up players just for off nights. But if you are busy on the busy nights, or even on Sunday, check Sunday. It's possible that you're full there. If you're busy on those days, just make sure to pick up players for days that you actually have room. Based on this, who has a good schedule? Well, Detroit and Utah play 4 games, with all 4 games being on off nights, which is pretty good. Anaheim, Colorado, Edmonton, and Seattle all play 3 off nights, which is good if you need off nights. And then Florida, New York, Vancouver, Vegas, and Ottawa are all also playing 4 games this week. As far as bad schedule goes, it's Calgary and Dallas, since they only played 2 games apiece this week. So try to avoid picking up players from those specific teams if you are trying to win this week. Jumping into forwards now, and the first one on the list is Dylan Guenther of the Utah Hockey Club. Playing on the second line and top power play, he has been absolutely incredible all year. He's someone that I had in a lot of my preseason content telling you guys to pick him up in the draft, and he has not disappointed this year. As long as he's been healthy, he's been very, very productive. And for a week that Utah plays 4 games, with all 4 being on off nights, there could not be a better time to stream Dylan Guenther. Toronto's the same thing. Anaheim plays 4 games, but 3 of them are on off nights. But Toronto has been excellent this year with great peripherals to give you a safe floor every single night, and he's been putting up points. Brock Nelson was just traded from the New York Islanders to the Colorado Avalanche. He is primed to be their second line center and could see top power play time. If he does, oh boy, is he ever valuable. Juraj Slafkovsky is starting to really heat up right now on Montreal. He doesn't have a particularly great off-night schedule, but Montreal's schedule isn't too bad this week. And he's a top liner, and he's really starting to hit and score some points here. The floor is great with him right now, and the ceiling is even better. Valeri Nichushkin of the Colorado Avalanche is finally back from injury. Colorado is just loaded up, and their second line is a lot better. So even if he's not playing on the top line with McKinnon, playing with Brock Nelson is no joke. He could even potentially play top power play. Right now he's not, but you never know. He's someone who definitely could score some goals and some major points. Matvei Michkov of the Philadelphia Flyers is starting to heat up once again. He's a very streaky player, but right now he's doing well, and as long as he's scoring goals and getting points, he belongs on your fantasy team. JJ Peterka of the Buffalo Sabres. I'm recording this at almost 4:30 on Friday. At this point, doesn't look like he's been traded. So Peterka should be a good, solid option for power play 1 and top 6 in Buffalo for the rest of the year. He's absolutely on fire right now. Someone I like a lot going forward for the fantasy playoffs. Ryan Donato of the Chicago Blackhawks doesn't look like he's been traded either, so he's someone who's been getting top 6 minutes in Chicago, top power play time, and has been absolutely incredible this year. Boone Jenner getting top 6 minutes in Columbus and has been very good since coming back. Very slate floor every night with him. Teuvo Teravainen is playing on the second line with Donato and is absolutely on fire right now. He's another very streaky player, kind of like Matvei Michkov, but right now, he's absolutely lighting it up. You need him on your fantasy team if you're trying to win this week. Kent Johnson of the Columbus Blue Jackets playing on the second line and top power play, if I'm not mistaken. Kent Johnson has been very, very good as of late. Got quite a few game point streak going, and he's someone who definitely can continue to put up the points. Then I have Dylan Cousins and Fabian Zetterlund, both traded to Ottawa, part of different trades. Dylan Cousins coming in from Buffalo and Fabian Zetterlund coming in from San Jose. I could see them both playing on the second line with each other and Drake Batherson. And if they can develop some chemistry, they could potentially do well down the stretch. I don't necessarily see any of them getting top power play time, but I could be wrong. For now, they are speculative ads, but they should be top 6 players. Troy Terry of the Anaheim Ducks is a top line player and a top power play player and has been very, very good all year. He's someone on a week where Anaheim has a very favorable schedule, should be added to your team. Logan Stankoven is another speculative ad. He was my favorite to win the Calder Trophy at the beginning of the year. He did disappoint a little bit in Dallas, but Dallas just has a plethora of talent. There's so many good players there that he wasn't always given top line minutes or anything like that to shine. In Carolina, he probably gets top 6 minutes almost guaranteed with the players they have over there. If he does, he could potentially start to really show what he can do. I like Stankoven a lot, and he's a speculative ad, but I definitely can see him starting to light it up in Carolina. Andrei Kuzmenko of the Los Angeles Kings was actually just traded over there from Philadelphia. It's the second time this season he's been traded, but while in Philadelphia, he was doing pretty well, scoring plenty of points, getting power play time. I'm curious to see where he fits in the lineup. He's very much a speculative ad right now, but he's someone who's usually pretty good on a power play. So if they do decide to put him on their top power play, that could be someone that ends up gaining some value. Ryan Strome of the Anaheim Ducks has been pretty good all year. Is playing on the top line, top power play with Troy Terry, Frank Vetrano. If you want a guy who has the off nights this week, he is that. McBain, the same thing. 4 off nights this week for Utah. He is their third line center and gives you a pretty safe floor night in and out with the hits. JT Compher is the second line center in Detroit, playing alongside Patrick Kane and DeBrincat. That's a pretty good line, and he definitely could put up some points for you on those 4 off nights that Detroit has. And finally, Ilya Mikheyev is playing on that line with Donato and Teravainen and is 0% rostered, but he's actually been scoring some points. So if you're in a super deep league and you need someone who can score you some points potentially, Mikheyev is not the worst option. Jumping into defenseman, Noah Hannafin of the Vegas Golden Knights is almost 70% rostered now, and he's been really, really good ever since Shea Theodore got injured at the Four Nations. He's been putting up plenty of points, and he is the top power play guy in Vegas. Add him now if somehow he's still available. Darnell Nurse of the Edmonton Oilers, very safe floor night in and out for Edmonton. I like him a lot. Jackson Lacombe of the Anaheim Ducks had been playing top power play most of the year, but recently got demoted, but somehow is absolutely going off on the score sheet. Lots and lots of points as of late, playing PP2, and as long as he's hot like that, why not add him to your fantasy team, and could honestly be added to top power play once again pretty soon. Luke Hughes is going off right now on the top power play in New Jersey. He's someone who's very, very streaky, and if he's not scoring you points, he is not doing a lot for you because his peripherals are almost non-existent, but right now, he is scoring the points. Radko Gudas of the Anaheim Ducks has been very, very, very good as of late for peripherals, and if you like hits and you like blocks, Radko Gudas is someone that you're going to like a lot. Alex Vlasic of the Chicago Blackhawks is only 10% rostered, but with Seth Jones leaving, Alex Vlasic is now the top power play quarterback in Chicago. And while Seth Jones was injured earlier in the season, he did pretty well in that spot. That's a pretty good ad. Darren Radish of the Tampa Bay Lightning is back on the power play 1 in Tampa Bay. He's been really good, scoring 4 points over his last 3 games, And with all the extra firepower they've brought in Tampa Bay, Darren Radish could be a season-long hold for the next few weeks. Rasmus Ristolainen is the top power play guy in Philadelphia, and I don't believe he was traded at the deadline. As long as he wasn't, he's the guy who you want over there for power play points. Nick Seeler is a solid option in Philadelphia if you need blocks specifically. So if you're in a categories league where you need blocks, or if you're in a points-based league where blocks actually count for a decent amount of points, Seeler is not a bad option. And finally, Zach Jones of the New York Rangers at 0% rostered is getting top power play time in New York because Adam Fox is injured. He is an option if you're desperate for power play points. In terms of goaltenders, Samuel Montembeault of the Montreal Canadiens is 66% rostered and is the starter over there. Frederik Andersen, 64% rostered, gets every second game in Carolina. Lankinen is a starter in Vancouver because Demko's injured. Talbot getting almost every game for Detroit. Lucas Distal is getting almost every game for Anaheim, although I don't believe John Gibson was traded, so it could still be Gibson getting every second start or so. Elvis Merzlikins of the Columbus Blue Jackets, 37% rostered, is the starter over there in Columbus, getting almost every single start. Karel Vejmelka of the Utah Hockey Club is literally starting back-to-back nights when I'm recording this. He has absolutely eclipsed Ingram as the number one goalie in Utah, and they believe in him. Then Sam Ersson of the Philadelphia Flyers, 25% rostered, the starter over there. Spencer Knight in Chicago is the starter in Chicago, although they did give a game to Soderblom, so they may not be starting Spencer Knight every single night, but if he continues to impress, it's going to be hard to resist starting the guy almost every single night. In Pittsburgh, Nedeljkovic has not been that great, but he is still a starter over there, although Jari was called up, so maybe look for Jari to get a game or two as well to potentially bounce back. Yaroslav Askarov is also an option for San Jose, although at the moment of this recording, he is injured, so it is Georgiev getting the starts in San Jose. Once Askarov is cleared, he'll probably be called up and get at least every second start in San Jose, so you can stash him for now if you're really desperate for goaltending. But again, you have to be pretty desperate to stash a San Jose goalie. That being said, sometimes in points leagues, you gotta do what you gotta do. And Arturs Silovs of the Vancouver Canucks is actually probably going to get 2 games this week because Vancouver plays 4 games and and there are 2 sets of back-to-backs in those 4 games. So Silovs will probably get 2 of those starts. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content today, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.